There's a version of exhaustion that doesn't make sense on paper. You've been busy, genuinely busy. The calendar was full, the to-do list was touched, the hours were accounted for. By every visible measure, you worked. And yet at the end of the day, something feels hollow. Not tired in the satisfied way. Tired in the depleted way, like you spent a lot of energy and produced very little of what actually matters to you. If you've felt that and couldn't explain it, there's a name for what's happening. Researchers call it busyness as a substitute for productivity. And once you see it, you'll start noticing it everywhere. In your schedule, in your habits, and in the quiet parts of the day when you wonder why you're still tired. This isn't about working harder or managing your time better. It's about understanding why your brain keeps choosing here's the first uncomfortable truth. Your brain does not naturally prioritize important work. It prioritizes work that feels productive. These are not the same thing. Psychologist Barry Schwartz, in his research on decision-making, identified what happens when humans face tasks of varying difficulty and ambiguity. Given a choice between a task with a clear, immediate feedback loop and one whose value is real but delayed, people reliably choose the former. Not because they're lazy, because the brain's reward system responds to closure, not consequence. Clearing your inbox feels productive. Answering messages feels productive. Reorganizing a folder, attending a meeting that could have been handled differently, yet responding promptly to requests, all of these generate a sense of forward motion. The brain logs them as wins. The harder, higher value work, the deep thinking, the creative problem, the strategic decision that requires sustained focus and tolerates no immediate feedback, generates discomfort before it generates reward. So the brain routes around it, not through laziness, through efficiency. It is doing exactly what it was designed to do. The trap is not a character flaw, it's a feature being used in the wrong context. There's a deeper layer here that most productivity advice never reaches. For many people, staying busy isn't just a default when it's a strategy, an unconscious one, but a strategy nonetheless. Psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, whose work on flow and attention we've touched on before, she observed that unstructured time with no task to fill it, is psychologically uncomfortable for most adults. The mind doesn't settle into rest easily. It generates anxiety, self-evaluation, and questions that feel harder to face than any item on a task list. Busyness solves this. When you are occupied, you are temporarily protected from the uncomfortable questions, whether your work is meaningful, whether you are making progress on the things that matter most to you, whether the life you are building is actually the one you want. This is why the hollow feeling tends to arrive at day's end rather than mid-task. The busyness stops, the protection lifts, and the questions are still there, unanswered, exactly where you left them. Staying busy isn't a failure of productivity. For a lot of people, it's a sophisticated avoidance mechanism for the larger work of deciding what actually matters. Here is what makes the productivity trap genuinely damaging rather than just inefficient. It compounds. Every hour spent on low-value activity is not simply a neutral use of time. Research on what's called ego depletion, the documented reduction in cognitive capacity that follows sustained mental effort, shows that willpower, attention, and decision quality all degrade across a day of use. The mechanism doesn't distinguish between important effort and busy work. It just tracks expenditure. So when you spend your highest energy hours on reactive tasks, the inbox, the easy requests, the things that feel urgent but aren't important, you arrive at the work that actually requires you already depleted. Like the deep thinking gets the leftover version of your brain. Over time, this creates a pattern that becomes invisible because it's so consistent. You are always tired when it matters most. Not because you lack capacity, but because you spent it early on things that didn't require it. The cost of the productivity trap isn't just wasted days, it's a slow erosion of the belief that you are capable of the work you care about, because you rarely give yourself the conditions to prove otherwise. The standard advice here is to prioritize. Make a list, rank it, work from the top. And the advice isn't wrong, but it skips the part that actually determines whether prioritization holds under pressure. The part it skips is this. You need to decide before the day begins what the one thing is that would make the day genuinely worthwhile if everything else stayed undone. Not a ranked list. One thing. Specific enough that you'll know unambiguously when you've done it. Researcher Newport, in his work on deep work and attention, found that the single most consistent predictor of meaningful output was not total hours worked, but whether high concentration work was protected from interruption during the hours when cognitive capacity was highest. The sequence matters more than the volume. When you answer the one question first, before the inbox, before the messages, before the reactive pull of the day, two things happen. The most important work gets the best version of your attention, and every other task that follows carries a different psychological weight because the day's real purpose is already complete. The busyness doesn't disappear, but it stops being a substitute. It becomes what it always should have been, the ordinary maintenance of a day that has already produced something real. The productivity trap isn't a time management failure. It's a sequencing problem with a psychological engine underneath it. Your brain is not sabotaging you. It is routing toward comfort, closure, and the relief of visible motion because nobody told it the difference between activity and progress. That's your job now. The hollow feeling at the end of a busy day is information. It's not telling you that you didn't work hard enough. It's telling you that the work that would have actually meant something to you didn't get done. You already know what that work is. Do it first. And if this landed, if it put words to something you've been living but couldn't quite diagnose, share it. The people in your life who are perpetually busy and perpetually drained need this frame more than they need another productivity system. And if you're new to habit framework, every week we take the science of how people think, behave, and change, but make it actually usable. Subscribe, because what's coming next is worth being here for.